All right, hi there. My name is Sarah Cameron, independent Norwex consultant. If we have not met yet, I'm grateful you're watching this video. So I wanted to put together a video for those of you who are new to using your mop, or maybe you've had your mop for a while, but you're intimidated by using it. So let's talk about it, because one of the things I love about this mop is it truly is super easy to use. It might be a little different than when you're used to, but it's so simple, it's so easy, and it is so fast. So my shirt actually says adventure on my mind, because I love being outside and doing fun things. The faster I can get my floors clean, the quicker I can go do that. So when you get your mop, it comes in a big box like this, and inside you will see a mop handle that's covered in a protective sleeve. You will see a mop base that is also in a protected sleeve, and then your dry mop pad. You would know it's dry because it says dry on it, but also the back is yellow like the sun, which I think is dry, but you can think of it that way. The wet mop pad is blue on the back like water. So that's the one that you use damp to mop. So I'm going to show you my mop that I've had for a very long time. The other thing that hopefully came in your box is the rubber brush. This rubber brush you will use to clean your mop pads after you've swept or mopped. If you don't have one of these, highly encourage you get one for your mop. It makes a huge difference. So this is my mop system that I actually saved up for and purchased, 13 years ago. So I've had this for a long time. Same thing, we've got that mop base that I showed you, mop handle. I do have an extra attachment in mine. This is the Norwex spray mop attachment, but these all go together just with these little buttons. So you push those in, you put it together, snap it together in the first place. And then if you need to take it apart for some reason, same thing, just use those little buttons and take it apart. So on the bottom right now, I have the dry mop pad. This is an old one. I've had it for a long time. One of the things that I love about this mop system is you are not constantly replacing pieces to it. Our old system felt like a good value when I bought it because it was pretty inexpensive, but then I was at least once a month buying replacement, dry mop pads and wet mop pads for my mop system. And I was like, oh my word, this is ridiculous, because I'd have to use 2 or 3 just to mop the house, and it was streaky. And anyways, this is amazing. You don't need replacements, you're just using water. So with your dry mop pad, what you want to do, first of all, is adjust the mop to your height. So it can be short, it can be tall. And the way I'm doing that is by twisting to the left to loosen, so think lefty-loosey. When you get it to where it's ergonomic for you, so that's about chin to nose height, then tighten it up, righty-tighty, okay? Then to mop your floor with your dry mop, this is what I do instead of sweeping. So instead of, dust and pet hair flying around, this actually picks it all up. So I'm going to go in a big figure 8 motion. You're not pushing hard, you're just going lightly, but a figure 8. The reason I'm doing a figure 8 motion, you can see I'm leading with this longer edge, is so that the extra stuff, maybe it's popcorn kernels, extra hair, extra dirt, larger things will be pushed in front of the mop, and then I'm not leaving anything behind. So I go in a big figure 8 motion that is going to push anything larger or extra and catch the rest. That way my floor is clean. When I'm done, I take this over towards the garbage, keeping it in contact with the floor, because when you pick it up, unless your floor was not very dirty, you'll have some stuff on the floor, okay? To clean that up, use your dustpan, use your EnviroCloth, dust mitt, vacuum, whatever you want. But just clean that up, and the rest of it will be stuck to your dry mop pad. With this, you take your rubber brush over the garbage and just brush everything off into the trash. The sound is delightful. Hearing dust and glitter and dirt hit the trash can liner makes me so happy. So if that's all you wanted to do was sweep, great, you're all done. If, however, you wanted to mop your floor, that is where you will want to get your wet mop pad. This is actually a tile mop pad, but let me take you over here and show you how you get it wet. Okay, so you take it over to the sink. Let's put you down here so you can see that better. Okay, take it over to your sink. There we are. And you just want to run this under some water so that it fills up with water. No cleaning products are needed. You're just getting it wet with water, and then I take it like this, roll it up, and wring it out. That way, it's just damp. It's not sopping wet, but I have a nice damp mop pad. Then this works the same way as an EnviroCloth, but for your floor. So to switch this out, let me put you back up here. To switch this out, you simply remove your dry mop pad. This is the way I do it. I plop this onto the floor, and then I take my mop and just put it over the top. And then it's the exact same thing. You're just doing a large figure 8 motion to mop your floor. That way you're picking up the bacteria instead of covering it up with some sort of cleaning product. You're removing the bacteria from your floor. You're removing, the dried marinara or whatever it is, but very gently. If you run into a spot, maybe it is dried marinara that has been sitting there for a week, that's not coming up easily, apply a little pressure with your foot, and that makes it really easy to get that off. And then if you are seeing the spray mop attachment, like I said, this is something that you can get to go with your mop. The benefit of that is if you have a lot of hard flooring, when you have the spray mop attachment, you don't need to re-wet your mop pad. So if you don't have this, when you get to a point where you're like, okay, I think my mop is dried out, just re-wet it like I just showed you, wring it out, put it back on, and keep going. Or if you have this, it is pretty handy. You just hold this at a 90-degree angle to your floor, gently push, and there you go. And I have another video on that. But those are the basics to using your mop. A couple other questions that people often have is, how often do I need to wash these? If you, like me, were using a system that left residue from a cleaning product on your floor, you may want to wash these the first few times that you mop. And the reason I say that is think about how many layers of that product are on your floor, right? When you're using your mop, it will be removing those layers. While you're removing it, the mop is cleaning off that cleaning product and picking it up. So washing it the first few times is going to help as you are getting that cleaning product residue off of your floor. Those first few times you're mopping, you may experience some streaks if you were using another product, again, because this is taking it off. If you do have the probiotic hard surface cleaner, you can spray that on your floor. That's going to speed it up, but just be patient. Give it a few mops while you actually get, to your floor and past the residue. And then you will find this to be so simple and so easy. Mopping your floor is fast. You're not putting a lot of pressure, as you saw. You're just lightly going on your floor like you're, a mopping princess. You don't have to do much, or a mopping prince, whatever. So not a lot of pressure, but then taking care of your mop pads, wash them the first few times if you are transitioning from a product that left residue. After that, I don't wash my mop pads that often, just as needed, which could be a few, 3, maybe 5 times a year. So when I see that, they really need some help, I toss them in my Norwex laundry. This rubber brush, you can also use when you're done wet mopping. Normally after I wet mop, I do this into the garbage because I find things that I missed when I dry mopped. So I do that, then rinse out your mop pad. So take it over to the sink, let it run under some running water, rub it together so that it can get nice and clean, wring it out, and then use that tag to hang it up to dry. I usually keep my dry mop pad on my mop so it's just ready for me to do sweeping, and then I put my wet mop pad on when I need to wet mop. However, if you live in a place like I do, where there is snow in the winter, and maybe you have a dog or children that bring that snow in the winter, I actually leave my wet mop pad on the mop all the time. That way I can go around and clean up all the water spots from the melting snow. So tuck that in your back pocket. But if you have questions at all, don't hesitate to comment on this video or connect with me personally. I'm here to help. The last thing I want is for you to have this mop and be scared to use it. Get this mop out, have fun with it, and if you have questions or need help with anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out and ask. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I hope this helps you with your mop.